You are watching a Titan Ed video review. These reviews are for 13 plus collectors. If you are not a collector, please click away. Hey, Titan Ed here. This video review was originally posted on TikTok, but I'm placing it here on YouTube as a backup just in case anything happens. Enjoy the review.
It's time for a Titan Shake That video review.
Titan Ed here, back to do another video review, and going back to my roots, so to speak, because this is going to be a multi-part review. Namely, that there's so much stuff here with this War for Cybertron Trilogy Spoiler Pack 2 Nemesis Prime, try saying that 5 times fast, that I'm going to have to do it in multiple parts, starting with a bit of a story time, as I actually snubbed this figure on its initial first release. Yeah. I had such a problem with the promo pictures, I chose not to get it, as well as the paint job for the actual Japanese version for Nemesis Prime, that I really did want to get this figure, but things happen and certain price points for Japanese figures are so ridiculously expensive, this actually looks like a damn deal by comparison. But I'm getting ahead of myself. Needless to say, when I saw the promo pictures for this figure, I was not impressed. I mean, the promo pictures like this almost made him look like he was more of a charcoal gray than the black he comes in. It was really throwing me off. Not helped by the fact that I think the Japanese version of this is still an awesome figure and is a lot better painted, in my honest opinion. And I do think he comes with the cooler sword, but that's subjective in my opinion. But because of all of that, I ended up skipping the figure. Unfortunately, I could never get the Japanese figure because, well, the only place I could find it was BBTS, and they wanted over $100 for just the Voyager class figure, the gun, and the sword. Yeah, like I said, this seems like you're getting away with a lot more in comparison. But yeah, because of it, I just didn't get it, and the first run, of course, eventually sold out. I believe this is a second run figure that I got thanks to my friend Dan at Zone Comic Books. Great place, Zone Comic Books. If you're ever in the Louisville, Kentucky area and out at St. Matthews, check him out. It's one of the greatest shops in the city, in my opinion. But yeah, that's why it's taken me this long to actually review and get this figure, are multiple different factors. But with that said, look to the comment section, for I will have a pinned comment with the next part of this review. So yes, in this part of the review, we're only going to be focusing on the accessories. So both Nemesis and the little Battle Master with its effect part are going to be reviewed separately. So let's get into this. Aside from the Energon cubes, which I think are just now Hasbro's standard for Energon cubes they give out, all of the accessories in this spoiler pack are from other figures, basically. So the big broadsword here and the 2 double barrel cannons here are from the Transformers Power of the Prime Nemesis Prime that was an Amazon exclusive. So is Giza here, I can't remember how it's supposed to be pronounced properly, are from that set, and the trailer is obviously from the recent Earthrise Optimus Prime mold, though given with a Nemesis Prime repaint with the nice turquoise and silver stripe and the Decepticon symbol right here. It is pretty nice, and yes, the trailer does hook up well with Nemesis Prime, though there is a bit of an issue. We'll get into that later. Focusing on this little guy, he is supposed to be technically an Arms Micron, which is actually a reference to the Transformers Prime Nemesis Prime. This version of Nemesis Prime, which is from the Arms Micron sets that were released in Japan. He's supposed to be loosely based on this little Arms Micron, however, I think this is supposed to be like a shark of some kind, not a bird. But he's supposed to transform into the blade weapon that Optimus Prime would use in the Transformers Prime show. Pretty interesting. Now he does transform. So, pretty simple. Just fold these forward, fold that forward, boom. And yeah, it kind of looks like a handheld version of Transformer Prime Optimus Prime's arm blade. Very interesting. Now, the two double-barrel cannons are actually supposed to be representative of Transformers Armada Nemesis Prime. So is the sword. As you can see, the Nemesis Prime from that series has the two double-barrel blasters on his arms. Very similar. Now, this is supposed to be based on the Vopal Saber, which he used in Nemesis Prime's debut episode. However, I do wish this had been repainted. This is just a straight reuse of the same blade from the Amazon exclusive Nemesis Prime. So, yeah. And yeah, here we have the trailer. It's the same trailer that you got with Earthrise Optimus Prime, except with the Nemesis Prime color. It can open up just like Earthrise Optimus Prime's trailer. It has the same little shield gimmick and the same little helper drone like the Earthrise does, although it's all painted in black. So that's all the accessories Nemesis Prime comes with. Next up, we'll talk about his Battle Master. Oh boy. Part 3, the Battle Master, which is named... I can't say it. I physically cannot say it. His name is so freaking lame. I'm going to have to scrawl it here on screen because I just can't physically come to say it. When the first mold of this figure, Slitherfang, is named that, this equally requires an awesome name, not that name. So screw that name. We're going to call him Crimson Fang. That's his name from now on to me. I don't care what anyone else says. So Crimson Fang here is the same as Slitherfang that was previously released. And I gotta say, out of all the little Bridgemaster, Battlemaster figures they released during Earthrise, he's still my favorite because he reminds me of a little McDonald's toy I had when I was a kid. Now there's one other reason to really like this figure. And it's all that glorious red plastic. Because none of it is translucent. Not a single ounce of it. And that is amazing. Why is that amazing? That means he won't break down in a couple of years because translucent plastic that is pinned together has a tendency of breaking down for anywhere from 5 to 10 years. Despite this being one of my favorite Battle Masters, he is going to break eventually. This figure will not have that problem thanks to not being made of translucent plastic. Now, yes, he is what I affectionately call a Bridgemaster Battlemaster, meaning he turns into a little bridge piece for all of the Micromaster bases that were released during Earthrise. Yeah. You can see why I disliked the concept. However, this one does have the advantage of having, of course, the effect parts, which makes it look like an explosion is going off, and because of the way he's designed, he can become a shield for Nemesis Prime if you so choose. So, yeah. So, despite that terrible name Hasbro gave him, which I will not use, I think this is an awesome little Battle Master. Like I said, he's not made of translucent plastic, so he's got less chance of breaking. He's in this awesome shade of red. I think he's a worthy addition to this set, and I'm glad they put him in. So, next up, Nemesis Prime himself. So here we go, the final part, the actual figure himself, Nemesis Prime. Now, there really isn't anything too new here. This is still the same Siege Optimus Prime mold as before, but now with black plastic and red translucent bits all over. He still looks amazing in my opinion, but like I said, I gotta say, I do think the Japanese version looks a little bit better, especially in the front of the cab. Like you can see there, they used a lot more turquoise in the figure for vehicle mode, and I think that just looks nicer, but that's just my opinion. Now you can have the trailer hitched to him, and it looks really good. However, I did mention there's a bit of a problem at the beginning of all of this. The trailer hitch for the Siege Optimus Prime is too far forward on the trailer hitch area. Because of that, you only get that much turn out of the trailer. The trailer hitch really should be further back, kind of where those two explosion points are sitting at. That would allow for a more natural turn, but where it's set up now, it isn't really going to work. But, yeah, what you going to do? And yes, just like the Siege version of Optimus Prime, he can do the whole hover mode, although I don't believe these are in the instructions. At least as far as I can remember. Let's get into robot mode, and yeah, I'm going to be skipping transformation because everyone's seen this transformation already. Nemesis Prime's robot mode is looking perfect in my opinion. In my opinion, I think the Americans did pretty good on this one. Like I said, I think the only thing they could have improved upon was a little bit more turquoise, but I gotta admit, the turquoise Decepticon badge is a bit much. Purple really works, in my opinion. Now, Nemesis here can wield all of the accessories that do come in the package, such as both of his swords, both of his shields, although the placement for the Siege mold makes it a little awkward, and surprisingly enough, both of the double barrel cannons, which despite being designed for a completely different Nemesis Prime, fit him like a glove. I'm impressed. Also, something I forgot to mention, the little drone figure from the trailer can be detached and to any Siege port on his body, although the instructions say to put it on his back. However, that does come with one problem. Because he's using the Siege Optimus Prime mold, he has two on his back instead of the singular one Optimus has, so it's kind of offset. So in my opinion, I do think this set is worth picking up. Until next time.